Hello, Facebook friends. For those who are friends of Angels, first off, I would like to thank everyone for those who share her page and liking it. Second of all, I apologize if you hear anybody yelling at the dog in the background behind closed doors, because he does like to bark a lot. This was Angel's idea, partially mine, but I'm giving her the credit. She wanted to do a special segment on her page called Read Along. So, for today's book, as well as the rest of the others, because we basically have to catch up before we get the next book in the series, we are reading The Warriors by Erin Hunter. Book number 3 out of the New Prophecy, Dawn. The girls and I are already up to chapter, double check here, 4. So I'll be trying to hold the camera and read at the same time. You see if I can't do this without messing it up here. Getting to a certain spot. Holding this. Okay, here we go. Okay. We ended up leaving off on page 61. Brambleclaw shook his head. We're going to meet there tomorrow with Tawny Pelt, Stormfur, and Crowpaw. We're going to bring our leaders if we could persuade them to come. Are you going to go? Mousefur flattened her ears. Nothing would keep me away, Firestar replied. Dustpelt stared wide-eyed at his leader. You're not actually thinking of taking the clan out of the forest, are you? Right now, I don't know what I'm going to do, Firestar admitted. But I am not sure the clan can survive Leafbear. He met Dustpelt's eyes for a moment. Squirrelpaw saw his eyes flash. I cannot let my clan suffer. If there is anything I can do to prevent it, we cannot ignore this message, however it came to us. It may be our only hope of survival. If there is a sign, I want to see it for myself. He straightened and looked at Brambleclaw. Tomorrow I will go with you to the 4 trees. Chapter 5. Sasha, Mistyfoot called again. Is that you? There was no reply. Leafpaw pressed her muzzle against the web and peered out. She heard of Sasha many times and was so curious to see the rogue she-cat who had taken Tigerstar as her mate and given birth to Mothwing and Hawkfrost while staying with RiverClan. But in the half-light of the wooden nest, she could only make out Sasha's tawny pelt huddled at the back of the cage the Twolog had just brought in. Sasha, are you okay? Mistyfoot called more urgently. Give her time to recover, Cody advised. The new ones are always quiet. I don't need time to recover, came a furious hiss. How dare they put me in here? If I could get out, I'd rip that Twilug to shreds. What were you doing in the forest? Missyfoot asked. I wanted to see my kits, Sasha replied. I had heard about the Twi'leks destroying the forest. I wanted to make sure they were safe. I saw Mothwing not long ago, Leafpaw mewed. She was fine. She's going to be a medicine cat. Who's that speaking? Sasha called. I'm Leafpaw, of ThunderClan's apprentice medicine cat, Leafpaw told her. I'm friends with Mothwing. Do you know Hawkfrost too? Sasha demanded. Is he safe? Leafpaw did not answer. Her paws prickled as she pictured Sasha's other kit. He had an icy blue gaze, like the sky in Leaf Bear, and his shoulders were as broad and powerful as those of a warrior twice his age and experience. Last time Leafpaw had met him, he threatened to drag Swordtail back to RiverClan camp because she strayed across the border by mistake. Luckily, Mothwing had persuaded him to let Swordtail go. Mistyfoot called from her cage. Hawkfrost was fine when I last saw him. Thank goodness, Sasha breathed. The relief in her voice surprised Leafpaw. She sounds as worried as a clan queen would be, she whispered to Cody through the web that separated them. Of course, Cody had been listening quietly to the exchange. She's talking about her kits. She is a she-cat, just like any other after all. But she gave them away to be raised in RiverClan. Leafpaw exclaimed, almost forgetting to keep her voice low. Why didn't she let her own clan raise them? Cody sounded puzzled. Sasha's not a clan cat, Leafpaw whispered. She's a rogue. That's right. Call me names just because I choose not to live among the rest of you. Sasha growled, overhearing. Not that I care, as long as my kits are safe. I'm sorry, Cody apologized. This is such a small nest. It's hard not to get involved. She glanced sideways at the cage next to her, where a tattered black rogue, crouched without giving any sign that he heard their conversation. With some cats, at least, she added pointedly. Leafpaw knew that she had been trying to befriend that black Tom, but had not managed to get any answers from him except his name. Cool. You're a kitty pet, aren't you? Sasha asked Cody bluntly. You sound too polite for a rogue. You look too fat to be a clan cat. Leafpaw saw Cody bristle. Cody's a friend, she meowed, leaping to her defense. I didn't say that she wasn't, Sasha mewed. I'm just trying to work out who's who in this place. Mistyfoot explained. They're mostly rogues. But there are a few other forest cats. Gorsetail, Brightheart, and Cloudtail mewed greetings as Mistyfoot went on. And Cody's the only kitty pet as far as we know. Have any of you worked out a way to escape from this foxhole? Sasha asked. Not yet, Mistyfoot admitted. Even Starclan hasn't given us a clue, Leafpaw added. Starclan? In the shadows she saw Sasha curl her lips. Do you clan cats still believe in that nonsense after what's happened to the forest? Of course we do, Leafpaw hissed. Well, send a prayer for me, little one, Sasha sighed, unexpectedly. I think we're all going to need as much help as we can get. Sun-high past, the tepid warmth of the afternoon sun began to phase. Here comes the Twilug again, Cody called to the other cats, over the distant grumbling of the Twilug monsters. Leafpaw heard footsteps outside and instinctively crouched at the back of her cage. The nest door opened and the Twilug came in carrying the food pelts. There's no way you'll persuade that Twilug to let us out by purring at it, Leafpaw whispered to Cody as the Twilug began opening the cages and putting more food in it. I guess not, Cody shrugged, but it won't hurt to make him trust me. Then, as she spoke, a hiss exploded from the cage next to her. The Twilug leapt backward from Cole's open door. Blood trickled at its forepaw as it stamped around the nest, spitting in range. Leafpaw strained to see through Cody's cage. She could just make out his shadowy outline as he flattened himself against the floor. Blood pulsed through her ears as she glanced over the Twilug's shoulder. It had stopped screeching and was staring menacingly at Cole. Suddenly, a vicious cry. It thrust its paw back into the cage. She heard a tom screech in cage. The Twilug slammed the door shut. Leafpaw shuddered. What had the Twilug done? The Twilug opened Cody's door and tipped pelts into her pot. The kitty pet shitted away. She was not purring at it now. As soon as the Twilug had gone, Leafpaw yelled. Are you okay, Cole? Muffled groan came from the cage beyond Cody's. That stinking Twilug. Leafpaw smelled the air, warm tang of blood. It looks bad, Cody whispered to Leafpaw. There's blood on the floor of his cage. Were you hurt? Leafpaw asked Cole. I've cut my leg, the rogue replied. That badger-pawed Twilug shoved me against something sharp. Leafpaw thought quickly. What did Cinderpaw use to stop the bleeding? Can any cat reach a cobweb? She called. Come on, we have to help him. There's one near me, answered Gorsetail. I think I could reach it. Hang on. Peering down, Gorsetail's tawny paw reached from the cage below her. A large cobweb stretched from the floor of the nest on top of his cage. He reached towards it. His forelegs through the hole on the other side of his cage. He finally managed to plunge his paw into the thick tangle to drag it down. Twisting his foreleg around, Gorsetail held the cobweb as far up toward Leafpaw as he could. Leafpaw flattened herself against the cage and pushed her paw through the shiny floor. It scraped against her fur, but she clenched her teeth and forced her leg a little more until she could take the sticky cobweb from Gorsetail. She pulled it quickly into her cage and then began passing it to Cody. Give him this, she urged, squeezing the last pieces of cobweb through with her paws. Cody nodded, unable to talk, because she was holding the wad of cobweb in her mouth. She dragged it, and some of it stuck to the sides of the hole, wasting a few of the precious threads. Hey, give me 1 second. I need to grab a quick break here for water. Be careful, Leafpaw gasped. The voice of the rogue called beneath them, anxiously up. There's blood dripping through the top of my cage. That cat's badly hurt. Leafpaw's heart beat faster. Cole, are you okay? It won't stop bleeding, Cole replied, his voice trembling. Take the cobweb from Cody, Leafpaw ordered. Press it against the wound for as long as you can. She heard Cody breathing hard as the kitty pet passed through the cobweb. As the kitty pet passed the cobweb through to the next cage, followed by the sound of Cody's paws scrambling on the blood-soaked floor. Don't panic, Cole, she mewed. Just press the cobweb onto the wound. It's already soaked with blood. Cole panted. That's okay, Leafpaw reassured him. It'll still stop any more blood from coming. Just hold it in place. She waited. Silence gripped the nest. Leafpaw's head began to spin as she forced herself to take slow, deep breaths. Is he okay? Brightheart called after a while. Blood stopped dripping on me, reported the rogue from underneath Cole's cage. Cole, Leafpaw called out. How is it? A raged sigh came from Cole's cage. That's better, he murmured. It didn't even sting. Leafpaw felt a rush of relief. Keep the cobweb there for a bit longer, she told him. And then he could give the cut a gentle lick to clean it, not too fierce. You don't want it to start bleeding again. Well done, Leafpaw, Cody whispered from her cage. Leafpaw blinked. For the first time she had been captured, she didn't feel entirely helpless. Closing her eyes, She sent a prayer to StarClan. She had never helped a rogue before, but she knew her warrior ancestors would approve. Loyalty to one clan was no longer the way to survive. She realized her belly was growling with hunger. She might as well follow Cody's advice and keep her strength up, trying not to breathe in the horrible stench. She nibbled at the few of the foul pelts the Trollocs had left. I suppose I should be grateful for the easy meal, she thought as she forced herself to crunch the dry morsels. These are disgusting, she muttered. Not the best I've tasted. My housefolk tried to give me something similar once, but I soon let them know what I thought, and they never gave them to me again. Leafpaw nearly choked with surprise. You can make your Trollocs do what you want. They're not so hard to train, Cody mewed. She sat up and began washing her paws. Sasha called across the nest. Can you train that mongrel that hurt Cole to be gentler? I doubt it, Cody answered. These workfolk are nothing like my housefolk. Leafpaw saw Bright Heart's face appear beneath the mesh of her cage. Her ginger patches on her white fur almost looked black in the dim light. It was impossible to see that one side of her face had been terribly scarred by a dog attack many moons ago. What do you think they're going to do with us? She whispered. Perhaps they're going to turn us into kitty pets. Leafpaw suggested. She disliked that idea. At least that might give them a chance to escape and return to the clan. There was a snort from Sasha's cage. I don't think so, she rasped. We're hardly the sort of fluffy, pampered cats that Trollocs would go for. Leafpaw glanced at Cody, hoping that she wouldn't take offense, but to her surprise, the kitty pet was nodding. Sasha's right, she agreed. These folk don't care about cats, clan, rogue, or kitty pet. Trust me, I know the sort of, what do you call them? Trollocs? That make good housefolk. These just want to get rid of us.